It's time to pack. You have your tickets. Your trip is coming up and you need to pack now. So these are my recommendations. Check in as much as you can so that you do not have to carry it. Try to take along with you on your carry-on the least possible. So anything that you will not need during transit, just check it in so that it's out of sight, out of mind. You won't have to carry it. The airline will do it for you. Remember though, that sometimes when you cross borders, when you arrive to a different country, they will give you back the stuff that you checked in and you have to check it in again after you cross customs. So don't overdo it with the stuff that you are checking in, especially if you're traveling solo with your child. For example, if I had checked in a pack and play and 3 massive bags and I have a carry-on and 2 kids, it's going to be a nightmare after customs. I'm going to have to pull all that, and how? It's impossible unless you grab one of those little carts. So even if you check in everything, don't overdo it. Always check the weather of your destination and the weather that you will have during transit and the weather for your return. I live in South Dakota, so sometimes the weather changes in the weirdest ways, especially in spring. You could be leaving here and it's spring and the weather's quite acceptable. Then I go to my destination in Mexico and it's crazy hot. And then when I come back, it's snowing. It's ridiculous. So always check those 3 weathers. The weather of when you're leaving, the weather of your destination and your stay, and the weather upon your return. It's important for when you pack. So then you are completely prepared for your trip. And yes, weather predictions are not perfect, but at least you tried. Try to start packing 1 week in advance. When you're traveling with kids, it's not only for you who you're packing, and depending on the length of your stay, you have to plan quite a bit. And you need to start packing 1 week in advance so you can wash everything that you need, so that you can collect all the outfits that they're gonna wear to make sure you don't forget anything. Just pack 1 week in advance, and that way, the night before, you can get some rest and not be all stressed out. There were times where I actually didn't even sleep the night before because I was still packing. So don't do that. Have everything ready to go, even the outfit that you're going to wear during transit. Always check the weight and dimension limit of the bags. Check the airline luggage restrictions, both for the check-in stuff and the carry-on stuff. Avoid huge bags. Those usually go over the weight limit. Each airline is very particular about how much your luggage should measure and how much it should weigh. The standard, however, is 23 kilograms or 50 pounds for checked-in luggage. If you have so much stuff that you need to go over the limit, then bring more bags. It is better to bring more bags than have 1 bag over the limit. For example, if you bring 2 bags that are 50 pounds each, it'll probably be $35 per bag, so that's $70. But if you bring 1 big bag that is over the limit, it's gonna be $100. And sometimes they charge you per pound that you exceed. I think it's 11 kilograms limit for carry-on bags, and you're usually allowed 1 for free, plus your personal bag, which is your purse. When you're packing and preparing your luggage, use a handheld weight scale. I'll place a link below. And when you weigh your bags, try to stay at least 5 pounds below the limit, just in case of any inaccuracies. I always weigh my luggage after I pack, so I can adjust everything right then and there instead of doing it last minute at the airport when your luggage gets rejected. Don't forget to take it with you in your carry-on bag so that when you have to pack again for your return, you can weigh your luggage once more. Also know that most baby items are allowed to be checked in for free. For example, a stroller, a car seat, a pack and play. Those kind of things do not count as luggage, and they are allowed to be checked in for free. I believe most airlines do this, but always check. Call the airline and just make sure, just in case, so that you don't get charged at the airport. Strollers, you can bring onto the plane, or you can check them in at the gate. Always use TSA Approved Locks. Don't grab some random lock to put on your luggage, and some people even recommend not using locks. And absolutely do not use like one of those zipper locks. Don't use those because the airline will cut them. Some airports offer to clean wrap your bag. Quite the interesting trend. They do that to protect fancy bags so that they don't get scuffed. But don't do that. It's only going to cause an issue when you go through security. They will have to open your bag anyways, and wrapping your bag with that clean wrap is actually pretty expensive. Just know that your bags will get scuffed, they will get manhandled, it's gonna be rough, and that's what they're for. That's what luggage is for. And if you have like really fancy luggage, like Louis Vuitton, use that on road trips where you will be the one handling your luggage. But for airplane travel, forget it. Your bags will get scuffed. Just know that, it's normal. What do you do? And if for any reason a wheel gets damaged or a handle gets broken, you can tell the airline and they will pay for it. My mom got a completely new bag for free because they damaged her bag. And another time that they damaged a handle, they gave her, I think, $500 or something. Just talk to the airline, they'll make it right. To identify your bag quickly, use a ribbon. You can put a ribbon, just tie it really well so it doesn't come off. And that way, when you see your luggage coming in at the belt, you can grab it quickly and somebody else doesn't confuse it with theirs. Or you can also use a little colorful hook, you know, like the carabiner hooks. You can put one of those on the handle of your luggage. And you can even use that one to keep the zipper together, although I don't recommend that as much. In my case, I use a name tag on my bag that is very particular. It's like a unicorn. And so every time it comes by, I see a unicorn and it's like, yeah, that's my bag. There are certain things that you absolutely need to bring your own. One of them is a sweetener. Sometimes when you go places, they won't have that sweetener that you like. Bring your own toilet paper, not a new one, just one that has a little bit for when you're in transit, and just smush it and put it in your carry-on in case you run into the situation where there's no toilet paper. Bring your own earphones too. The headphones that they give you in the airplane are not very good quality and they sound kind of yucky, so bring your own headphones, but make sure they're the plug-in ones, because now with iPhones the connector is different, and if you want to listen to the movie in the airplane, you won't be able to use them. If you're very delicate when it comes to your hair, bring your own shampoo and conditioner, at least a little bit of it, and mix it up with the shampoo and conditioner of the hotel. I am not that picky when it comes to my shampoo. I just use hotel shampoo, but with my hair conditioner, I can't stand not having my own hair conditioner, so I bring a bottle of that one. I don't bring the super big one, just enough for the trip. I don't like the lotions that they give you at the hotel. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're really yucky and don't hydrate anything. So if you have a preference for the cream or lotion that you use, just bring your own. Pack very strategically so that you know where everything is at all times and you don't have to like dig into your luggage to find stuff. Try to divide the space in your luggage by sections. I usually divide the area of my luggage into a wet clothes area, a swimming clothes area, a pajamas area, an area for my clothing, an area for my daughter's clothing, and an area for my son's clothing. And when I roll up each outfit, I usually organize it in a way that it includes the underwear that they're gonna wear, the socks, the shirt, and the pants or skirt. You roll them up all together, and that way, instead of having to dig to find the underwear, to find the socks, to find the pants, you have it all together, so it's very easy to pull out the outfit for the day. When I'm in the hotel, I like to unpack everything, put it in drawers, and then I know where everything is. But even when it's in the bag, if I need anything right away, I know exactly where it is. Like when you arrive to your destination and the kids are like excited to go to a pool and they're like, mommy, give me my swimming suit. Then you know where they are right away. You don't have to make a mess of your bag. It's like, okay, this is in the swimming suit section of my luggage. I'm gonna pull it out. There you go. Stay organized, and this will make your trip less stressful. When you start packing, I recommend that you set out the outfits that you plan to wear, both for you and your kids, and preferably try them on. I always try out every outfit and look in the mirror to see if I am happy with my choice. That way you avoid overpacking or underpacking, because sometimes you can choose an outfit and when you try it on in your destination, you don't like it, and that's clothing that you brought in vain. Once you're ready to place all your clothes in the bag, you can roll them up. That saves a ton of space. But not only roll them up, but also flatten those rolls. That way you accommodate the flat rolls. It fits so much you wouldn't believe it. How many clothes should you take? When you're packing for yourself, I recommend you take at least 2 extra outfits. That way, if any of your clothing gets dirty and you need to change, you'll at least have a little extra. You can pack very strategically in a way that you bring less clothes by combining the amount of shirts you use with one set of pants, shorts, or skirt. For example, for one skirt, you can choose 3 shirts that go with it and just repeat that skirt on different days. And if you're able to wash clothes in your destination, then you don't have to bring extra outfits. And when you're packing for your children, you need to take double the amount, depending on their age, of course. If you're packing for a baby, you need to pack twice as much of the length of your stay. For example, if you're staying 7 days, I recommend that you pack 14 outfits. I know it sounds like a lot, but if your baby has a blowout and you have nowhere to wash your clothes, at least you have enough clothing. For pajamas, the amount of pajamas that you take, it's a personal preference. If your child, for example, tends to wet the bed, you should bring 1 pajama per night. But if your child doesn't have a bedwetting problem, you should bring 3 or 4 pajamas for a 7-day trip. It's okay to wear the same pajamas 2 days in a row. And even if you're not planning on swimming in your destination, please don't forget your swimming suit. Don't forget to pack some flip-flops. You will always need these for the pool if you're going to go swimming, or if you like to wear flip-flops in the shower. And make sure that they are non-slip to avoid any accidents. How many shoes should you bring? I usually like to bring 3 pairs of shoes and my flip-flops. Choose a black pair of shoes that will go with mostly everything, a white pair of shoes if I'm wearing any white clothes, and some comfy shoes. But you can also use a style strategy. For example, you can bring 1 pair of fancy shoes for special occasions, 1 pair of everyday shoes, and 1 pair of very comfortable shoes like sneakers. If your destination is somewhere where they have really cold weather, you might need to carry heavy coats. I usually like to bring just 1 coat because it is very uncomfortable and not very convenient to bring a heavy coat. And I usually don't carry it around when I'm in the airport nor in the plane. I hate carrying heavy coats and I don't want to wear them while I'm in transit because I get too hot. So I usually check them in with my luggage. I only bring a windproof jacket that you can wear in the plane and during transit. And yes, sometimes when you have to switch planes or when you come from the airport to the car, I tend to brave it a bit. Remember that upon arrival, you can open your checked-in bag finally and take out your coat. Don't forget to bring enough baby formula for the duration of your visit, unless you are certain that you can get more of the same baby formula in your destination. I made the mistake once of not bringing my own formula. That formula wasn't the same brand, and my son ended up throwing up. So to avoid those kind of situations where your baby is exposed to a formula that it's not used to, it is best to bring measured scoops of the formula that you're going to be using during the trip. And don't forget to bring a little extra. For diapers, I like to carry just enough for when I'm in transit and for the first 2 nights, just in case there's any kind of delay in purchasing diapers. Sometimes when you arrive, you're really tired, and the last thing you want to do is go to the store to get diapers in the middle of the night. I also recommend that you pack at least 2 blankets. One would be a fitted sheet that you would use for the pack and play or crib that you get at your destination, or if you're bringing one. And the other one is to cover your baby. And in this case, wearable blankets are a game changer. I love wearable blankets because that way your baby is always nicely covered during their sleep. I usually don't carry towels for myself. I use the ones that the hotel provides or that I am able to use in my destination when I'm visiting somebody. But I always bring hooded towels for my baby. I do not like using the hotel towels for my baby. I prefer the hooded towels because they keep my baby warm, especially when you're taking them out of the pool. And even a robe would be really nice for when your baby is out of the pool or your kid is out of the pool. Always bring a TSA Approved, leak-proof Toilettries bag. You can also use just a quarter size Ziploc bag, which is the TSA approved size. In that bag, you will place your own conditioner, a non-aerosol hairspray, because aerosol hairsprays are not to be brought into a plane, whether you check them in or not. I also recommend that you bring your own lotion and your toothpaste. I also like to check in a pretty purse that I will be using in my destination. Sometimes during transit, I don't want to carry a purse because I'm already carrying so much, especially with kids. So I place my makeup bag and other essentials that usually go in a purse, like my wallet, in my carry-on bag in a section that's easy access. And my pretty purse that I'm going to be using in my destination, I just place at the bottom of my luggage. It's the first thing I put in so that it's covered by all the clothes. And that way I know it won't be stolen. If you're worried about stuff getting stolen, another recommendation that I can give you is to place shoes in separate bags. Divide your pairs of shoes. Place the left foot on one bag and the right foot on a different bag. Never leave tags on brand new clothes. It is less tempting to steal used clothes. So even if they're brand new, if you've taken off the tags, they will think they're used. Place your prettiest clothes at the bottom. Pack those first so that you can cover them with the not so new and not so fancy clothes on top. Also, rolling up your clothes makes it more difficult to view each outfit and each piece of clothing, so that also disencourages stealing. I know it sounds pretty sad that we have to talk about how to not have your stuff stolen when you're traveling. Honestly, I've never had any issues. I've never had anything stolen, thank goodness, but I do know some people that have suffered this. Now let's talk about the carry-on must-haves. When you're traveling with kids, it's unavoidable that you will be carrying certain stuff. First of all, avoid giving your kids stuff to carry. Some kids get really excited and want to carry their own backpack or lug around kids' luggage with wheels. But I can tell you by personal experience that kids tend to get a little fed up and tired once you're in the middle of traveling. And who's going to end up carrying everything? You. And you already have your hands full. If they want to be involved, you can let them participate by helping push the carry-on luggage that you already have. Just be careful to always keep your eye on them so that they don't lose something. Sometimes kids get tired and let go. Next thing you know, you've lost your carry-on luggage. Older toddlers and kids are better when it comes to helping with luggage and maybe even taking care of their own stuff. But if your kids are younger, don't even bother giving them any responsibility during the trip. It will be really stressful. I recommend that you organize the location of everything according to how often you will need to use each thing. Important documents, for example, will be needed often, especially if you're changing flights or if you're crossing borders. So keep those really handy, but in a safe place. I like to put them on the exterior zippers of my carry-on luggage or in a cross-body bag. If you choose to bring a purse that is a body crossover, make sure that it is always within your view. It has to stay in the front of your body where you can see it, just for safety, to make sure that you don't get pickpocketed or they get stolen. Anything that you feel would be devastating to lose, just place it in that body crossover so that you have easy access to it yourself and it's always within your view. When you're going through security, you will need to take out your iPad, your computer, and any large electronics. So keep them in a section of your carry-on bag where you will have easy access to them. You don't want to be digging to the bottom of your carry-on bag to take them out and then struggle to putting them back in. There are some really good carry-on bags which have a special compartment that will not disturb the rest of your stuff. And that way, going through security will be a breeze. When you're flying, you're allowed one carry-on item, which is the larger item, and a personal item. That usually is your purse. I usually like to use my diaper bag as a purse because it fits more. And some airlines don't even count it as carry-on. I recommend that you choose an underseater as your carry-on bag for two reasons. One, they usually have a special compartment for these electronics. And number two is that on some really small planes, They will take away your carry-on bag, but they won't take it away if it's an under-seater. Also, if the overhead bin of the airplane is full, most airlines will send your carry-on bag to the belly of the plane, and you won't be able to access everything that's in it. If you don't need anything that's in it, that's fine. But if you do, that's going to be a problem. I don't like it because usually in my carry-on bag, I have my jewelry, my electronics, and other things that I really need handy. So if you don't want the airline to take away your carry-on bag, make sure it's an underseater. I will place a link below to the best underseater that I've used because some underseaters won't fit under the seat of some planes. Always carry a thermometer in case your children develop a fever, and bring some Tylenol and ibuprofen for them too. Just make sure that you know the correct dosage. Please consult your pediatrician to know this before your trip starts. One time we were kicked out of the plane because my son developed a fever. And even though I did have Tylenol and ibuprofen with me, I did not expect the fever to come back as often as it did. My son's fever was returning every 3 hours, so I had to alternate Tylenol and ibuprofen every 3 hours. And I quickly ran out. And we were on a 12-hour-long trip. So even if you don't think this will happen, it's good to carry a full bottle of ibuprofen and a full bottle of Tylenol in case your children are prone to high fevers like mine is. Also, any medications that you are taking during your trip, if they are prescribed, you will need to bring that prescription so that they don't take the medicine away from you when you're crossing borders. With medication in the US, you will need to bring your medication in its original bottle. In other countries like Mexico, they give you the prescription on a paper, so it's good to carry that paper just in case. I also recommend you carry a light blanket because sometimes in the plane it gets a little chilly, and not all airplanes will offer you a blanket. And some people are even grossed out by using those blankets because they say the airline doesn't want them. We never know. Don't forget to bring a sippy cup with a straw and a lid, or a baby bottle that is empty. That way, if your child gets thirsty, you can serve their water there. And also, packing on a straw or on a sippy cup helps alleviate the symptoms of earaches when the plane is landing or taking off. Even though you have probably packed formula and diapers in your checked-in luggage, you will also need some for when you're in transit. You know your baby, you know how many diapers more or less he or she will use per day. So bring that amount and maybe a couple more so that you have enough while you're in transit. Although most of the formula that you will be using during your trip is probably checked in, also bring some formula on board with you in your carry-on bag, just enough to make it through transit. Measure it precisely and put the formula that you're going to use already in a couple of baby bottles, but don't add the water yet. Just have it ready to go so that when you're on the plane, you don't have to be scooping it up. The airlines usually allow you to bring water bottles for your baby, and you don't need to bring a bunch of water bottles. You can purchase some while you're in transit, but bring at least 1 or 2 that you can keep handy. And most airlines are really nice about bringing you water bottles too if you need more. Just remember to never ever use tap water, no matter where you go. Bring some snacks for your children if they're in the age where they're eating solids. I used to like bringing low sugar snacks. That way, my kids wouldn't be bouncing off the wall during the trip. Some good examples would be fruit juice pouches or fruit sauce pouches, and any other snack that won't spill all over the place, that won't crumble and make a mess. Your child might be bored during the trip, so you will need to bring entertainment. You can bring iPads, and yes, forget all about screen time limits. You're on survival mode right now. Remember to preload it with videos and everything that you'll need so that your child will be entertained even if there's no Wi-Fi. The way to avoid excessive screen time is to also bring some watercolor books. These are awesome because all you need is a little pen that you fill with water, and when you paint on the paper, the colors pop up. It's very convenient because you don't have to worry about your child scribbling on the wrong places or getting all dirty with colors because the pen is only filled with water. My kids absolutely love those little books. I will place a link to them in the description. If your child has a favorite toy, you could bring that toy or bring a duplicate of that toy to avoid any lost toy drama. If you lose that toy during the trip, it'll be a total tragedy. So it's good to check in the original with your bag and just bring the duplicate on the carry-on bag. That way, if you lose a toy in transit, you will have it in your destination. You will also need to have some sanitizer and wipes. I usually keep a little bottle of sanitizer in my purse. Make sure that it is under 3 ounces, which is the limit for liquids when you're flying. Of course, if you're on a road trip, you don't need to worry about that. And a small packet of portable wet wipes will be a lifesaver, especially on a plane, because you can wipe all surfaces clean. Remember that your child will probably be wanting to touch everything. If you're a first-time mom or a mom like I was, that you don't want your child to get sick and pick up any germs during the flight because they touched the yucky airplane floor or they're touching all the seats and the dirty table, then the wet wipes will be a great solution. And they can clean also any messes that your child does. Don't forget to bring age-appropriate headphones. Children's headphones have a safety setting on the limit of the volume. Having headphones for your child will be a lifesaver, both if you're doing a road trip or if you're on a plane. If you're on an airplane, your child won't be able to hear their iPad due to the sound of the airplane. So having headphones will be essential. And if you're on a road trip, you will want your child to listen to his or her own thing while you can listen to your own music in the car. Some people also like to bring an inflatable neck pillow or a normal neck pillow. If you choose a normal neck pillow, try to choose one that has a little strap so that you can place it on the handle of your luggage. That way you won't suffer carrying around that neck pillow. If your child is potty trained or starting to potty train, you will want to bring a portable potty seat. You can use it on road trips, you can take it to use on any public bathroom, and you can even use it in a hotel. When my son was potty training, we went to Cancun, and I was afraid of ruining his potty training. But I took this travel potty seat that I placed on the link below, and it was a lifesaver. I used it during transit in the airport bathrooms because it works as a seat, and it is easy to wipe clean. And then upon arrival in the hotel, my son continued using his own potty because it converts into an independent seat that he can sit on. And if you have a girl, you'll discover that when you're on a road trip, you will need this little potty seat. Most girls refuse to pee on the ground if they don't have seats. Just in case your luggage gets lost, it is always good to have a bag with all essential in your carry-on bag. This will probably be at the bottom of your carry-on bag because it's something that you might not need. And those essentials would be an extra change of clothes, an extra set of underwear, your hairbrush, and also your toothbrush. And for your liquids, you will need a TSA approved transparent bag or a quarter Ziploc bag. There you will place all liquids that are under 3 ounces. Remember, the limit is 3 ounces, so any bottles that are larger than that should be checked in with the rest of your luggage. Bring 2 or 1 extra changes of clothes for yourself and at least 2 changes of clothes for your children during transit, in case they have a blowout or anything happens. Once my son got completely soaked, he spilled some soda on top of himself, and luckily I had a change of clothes, and the other clothes I just placed in a bag that I had for soiled stuff. Don't forget your diaper changer. The best diaper changers are the ones that have bags where to put the diapers and any soiled clothes. Bring chargers and connectors for all your electronics. And it is also a good idea to bring an extra battery. Most airports do have areas where you can charge your electronics, but just in case, it's good to bring an extra battery, and don't forget to charge it the night before. If you bring in tablets and phones, it's good to have a stand, a foldable stand, so that you can view them while you're in the airplane or in the car without having to hold it. If your child uses a pacifier, bring backups. And also, don't forget to bring some straps because you don't want that pacifier falling on the floor of the airplane. If your trip is a really long one, you can bring body wipes to freshen up. Bring a little bottle of hand lotion that is under 3 ounces because you're going to be washing your hands a lot. and they can get really dry. Make sure that the hand lotion is not greasy. Now that you know everything that you will need for your carry-on bag, I recommend that you make a list of which things you need to have easy access to and which things you won't need as often. That list will assist you in determining on what part of your luggage you will be placing each thing. There are some cool tips that I can give you. If you're checking in a car seat with the rest of your luggage, you can place that car seat in a protective bag and then fill it with diapers. That way, your diapers won't take up space in your luggage. You can also place toys and other stuff in that bag. I sometimes also use the space underneath the stroller so I can put certain stuff there, like my purse and things. A lightweight pop-up player will keep your kids safe and entertained while you're in a hotel or visiting someone. You can just take out and pop it up, and you put your little toddler in there or your 2-year-old, and they can just roll around, or even your crawling baby can be in this pop-up player, and then you can enjoy your visit and know that your kid is safe in that area. This comes really handy in hotels. Instead of being worried about your kid just being all over the place and falling, you can just put your child in that little play yard for a moment, and you can get peace of mind while you unpack and while you chill, or when you just want to lay down for a bit, or if you're visiting family and you don't want your child running around their house, you can put your child there and you can watch them while you're talking to another person calmly. So a pop-up play yard is really handy in any destination that you go, whether it is by airplane travel or road trip. I have the perfect recommendation for you of a pop-up play yard, and it is very lightweight. I will place the link in the description. Bring a humidifier, because the air at the hotel can be really drying, and when you wake up in the morning, your airways feel all yucky. When you're traveling with a small child, I also recommend you use a baby carrying wrap, because when you're going through security, they will make you take out your baby from the stroller, and you will need your hands free to fold the stroller, to put the luggage on the belt. I have a wrap that I love because you don't have to do a whole complicated operation to put on the wrap. This wrap is super easy to put on. You literally just slide your arms in, put the baby, you're done. I love that wrap. I'm putting it in the description too. I wouldn't even take off the wrap the rest of the trip. I would wear it the whole trip. I didn't care what anybody thought. I would just wear the wrap, so I had it ready to go every time I needed to put my baby in it. It's wonderful to bring a wrap with you when you're traveling solo with babies, and even if you're traveling with your partner. It's always nice to have an opportunity to have your hands free. Just make sure that you're placing your baby correctly in the wrap. If you're picky about your nap time and your bedtime and you like to sleep in a really dark room, you can also get a blackout eye socket mask. It's really cool because it has holes in the area of your eyes so that you can put on this mask without ruining your eyelashes and your makeup. Learn everything you need about traveling with kids in my next video, and check out my travel essentials board on Amazon in the description.